So it's a little bit of a different video for you today. I kind of want to, just do a bit more of a raw, uncut video where I'm just speaking each week, as well as the more formatted videos that are going over kind of the analysis for my training footage and things like that. So yeah, I wanted to start off the video by basically saying, like, I'm making this channel to kind of speak to the version of me that stayed in that victim mindset and didn't want to go out and live. And I mean, I am nowhere near where I want to be, but right now I'm living and I'm putting my best foot forward, and that's all that I can ask of myself, and that's all that you should ask from yourself, because there are so many things that stop us, but all of those things all come back down to yourself. It's always yourself. It's never the thing in the physical world. It's always your mindset about the thing. So getting your mind right is the most important thing. And I've struggled all my life with not having my mind right, having anxiety from a kid, which obviously I was too young to understand at the time, but that affected my performance going throughout school, and that affected how I was treated in school, and basically made me just feel worthless. And then all of that stuff's caught up with me in my adult life, and it is always there. I've got a much better hand on it now than I did before, but I got a hand on it from taking action and taking control of myself. And despite these negative doubts that I was always feeling, I just accepted that they're just doubts, and it's old programming that my mind is running from the past, and it's up to me to turn that into positive energy that's going to propel me forward, and it's going to allow me to live my life despite all the doubt that I feel. So to ensure that I allow myself to feel this stuff, but I don't allow myself to get absorbed in this stuff. Sometimes it happens, but it doesn't happen anywhere near as much as it used to. It doesn't cause me to spiral anymore, and it doesn't cause me to have depressive episodes because I feel like giving up, because I'm absorbing myself in all these negative thoughts and beliefs. So I've learned now that observing these thoughts is the way through, because thinking these thoughts, it just exacerbates the pain of thinking too much and just adds fuel to the fire. So not ignoring these thoughts, but just allowing them to be there, but just not engaging with them. So you're not trying to put up your ear to them. You're just looking at them, like no reaction. And then those thoughts just wear themselves out. And the other thing I've struggled with a lot is anger. I've always, growing up, I've had anger issues. Now I've got things much more under control. And that all comes down to my discipline in the gym to start off with. And then even better, getting into combat sports. Because you're not just training for vanity. You're not just training for big muscles. You're not just training for women like I used to. And then it turned more into mindset and feeling good and healthy. And then I kind of started running, and then you start doing kettlebells, and you get deeper and deeper into the whole fitness thing. But it always starts off with, I don't want to look like a victim. And for me, I was bullied a lot going through school. There was always something. It just always came round to me getting picked on in some way. Don't know why, but it did. And it had to happen like that. Because obviously now I've grown and I've developed myself now into a place where I feel secure in my physical aspect. Because before, I didn't have any genetics. I was a skinny little white kid, little middle-class white kid, weak, no genetics, no toughness, just a scared little kid who thought acting out and acting and causing trouble was going to somehow get attention and was going to make you feel better about yourself and a bit more accepted by other people. Just like I feel a lot for whoever's watching behind this camera. And then you kind of pick up this feeling that you have to put on a show, you have to, act tough to be tough, and you've got to be you've got to be rude to people, you've got to act like that hard man that basically half the UK is filled up with today anyway. So I went through my life thinking like that, and then you realise that it's very different, and being, quote unquote hard is actually just staying calm when the world around you is going mental. That is my view on what being tough is, in a nutshell. So an example of that in the training was I was sparring with this guy, and at the beginning I thought he looked like he didn't know what he was doing, but he's kind of one of those people that just has a bit of a weird stance. And he turned out he did know what he was doing. And he was one of those guys that wanted to use sparring to beat the opponent rather than learning, because I'm very much, you go light, you mix things around, you try and learn off each other. You're not trying to take each other's heads off. Obviously, if you've agreed that at the start, then it makes sense. But me personally, if someone starts going full whack on me, I'm just going to walk away, or just tell them to stop, or just say, listen, you're going too hard. I'm not doing this. We can either lighten it, we can go softer, or we just stop altogether. So that's what happened with this guy. And he was just basically just throwing one punch, and all he was throwing at me was a leg kick. And the bruise has gone down now, but that's what it is. And yeah, he was just basically trying to injure me. So throughout the situation, I could feel myself getting angry. And that old Callum was coming back, and I could feel him trying to come through and take over. But what I did start going a little bit harder because I was getting frustrated, and then I just stopped and observed and looked at the anger, and then thought to myself, right, let's stop this, because this is silly. Because when you can stop before that anger takes over, that's where you can choose. So that anger was rising, and I just stopped. I looked at it, and then I said to him, listen, mate, right, this is getting way out of hand. You're just throwing this same leg kick, and it's destroying my leg. I'm fighting on the 25th of April. I'm not just going to keep going just to look tough, and then have my leg destroyed and not be able to train. That's the scenario that occurred at training. And it's not to, make a big deal out of it, but it's just more the fact that me, before doing a combat sport, was much more erratic and out of control of myself, of my emotions and my thoughts. Now I'm doing a combat sport. I have not had a fight in years. I can regulate myself much easier in intense situations or in confrontation. And generally, I'm a lot more humble, and I have a lot more perspective on myself and how to regulate myself through life. So if you're someone that's but in that position of, you have a lot of potential, but you just can't get out of your own way, you just need to do something. You don't need to overthink it. You don't need to have the magic bullet to know what the exact purpose is for your life. You just need to take action on something that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be anything that someone else has said. Like, you just got to sit with yourself and think, what do I actually find passion in? And just go and do it. Don't do it in a way that you're looking for a destination. Just do it because you're alive and you can do it. Stop living for, I'm just going to keep going and going, and then I'll get to this destination, because there is no destination. The destination is just you being alive. You've already arrived. You already know. deep down. You just got to kind of uncover it, and you just uncover it by doing things and messing up, basically. Because the other option is you just spend the rest of your life in your mind in a loop, which never completes. At least when you do something hard, there is a completion point, and there's a way out. In your mind, there's not. It just loops and loops and loops, because the mind is designed to solve problems endlessly, and it's very powerful, and it's very good at sending you in loops and loops and loops. But it's also very good when you tell it what to do, at directing itself at the thing that's in front of you, and then you can do amazing things. So yeah, I mean, I'm constantly getting better and better and better at controlling my mind and using it productively. No way am I anywhere near the point where I want to be at, but I'm at a point where I can enjoy the journey and be at peace with the journey, and not feel that pressure, putting that unnecessary pressure on myself of that someday goal. I'm not bringing that into the present and worrying about it. I'm just trying to put my best step forward, and you should too. You should just take that jump, go and do something that scares you, like what I've done, going out to Thailand on my own and just figuring it out. That's all you got to do. And the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, will take care of you if you just move with faith. So that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. And the next one will be up on Sunday, I believe, and it will be going through the end of week 4. So thanks a lot for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the like if you enjoy these more raw, uncut videos where I'm just talking about my experience and hoping that can help you in any way. And yeah, if you haven't already, make sure you download the 5 Mental Framework PDF sheet in the link in the bio for the 5 mental frameworks that I use to stay consistent in the gym. And I'll see you in the next video.